My name is Chiara Marapodi. I'm an integrative transformative life coach. I'm also an animal communicator, so I'm able to connect with animals and to share their realities, their voices, their minds, and their experiences. And Alyssa, one of my clients, and her feline dragon, we had a recent session together. It was trippy to say the least. Most of my sessions are trippy, they're fun. And we decided to get together to share with you what this was like for all of us and her experience with animal communication. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you want to contact me, the contact details are in the video. I'll speak to you soon. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, Kiara.
It's so good to speak with you today. And I hear the dragon is doing really well after our last session.
Yes, he's like his old self. He's running around, has a lot more energy. His coat is just so shiny. His eyes are bright. So a big improvement.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Now, I wanted to ask you if we could talk a little bit about how we met because it was a very synchronous experience for all three of us, I think, right from the
Yes,
beginning. So,
from the very beginning.
yeah, it's been a little while now.
Yes, yes, it's been well over a couple years.
Yes,
Yeah,
it has.
yeah, yeah. I was referred to you by one of my clients. And I was just amazed at the information that she received from you and your connection with animals. And I was like, I got to do this because I myself very spiritual
Yeah.
and believe in all of that. So I contacted you and I, reading your profile, I just felt a connection already. I was just amazed by your background and how you have such an amazing gift. And so reaching out to you, and we instantly had a connection. All three of us instantly had a connection. And I'll never forget the day that you walked in. Dragon immediately said, "Why are you wearing essential oils?"
You remember I had them in my shoes?
Yes, you
And
had
he
lavender on
sniffed
your
it, and he
socks.
was like, "Ew, like, what yeah, what is that?" Like, hell no. He was so Dragon is a very beautiful being. So Dragon is a cat. Let's say he's
Yes,
feline.
yes,
You're feline.
yes,
And, you've had him from when he was 6 weeks old, I believe.
yes, from
And
6 weeks
so
old.
yes, and so you have a very strong connection with him, and he's very expressive, but he's also very picky.
Yes,
He doesn't go to everybody's what we got the first time. And
right.
he'd had some things going on with his bladder at some point.
Yes,
And I had those homeopathic pills for bladder infection in my bag. And I remember we were talking towards the end of the session, and we had done some healing, we had done some communication with him, and he had responded really well. And next thing, he was digging in my bag.
yes, yes,
Remember that?
yes.
And so when he was digging the bag, I was like, I wonder what it was. And I asked him, and he showed me something because I see things in pictures and colors, frequencies, and all sorts of things. And I took it out, and I think I left it with you because
Yes, you
that
did.
was the thing for it. Basically, it's the homeopathic to support the bladder. So, he is very expressive, and most animals, if we give them the chance, they will tell us what they need. And he definitely did. And I left it with you. And anytime he needs it, he can just sniff it. You don't need to take it. They can sniff
Yes,
it because their olfactory is so refined and it's so specific that they can take something in through their nose. I
yes.
mean, we do that in general, we just don't know, right? But homeopathics are specifically, you can't. But that was a wild there've been all wild sessions. I've had and in a good way. What I mean is that
Yes.
it was trippy, like we both would look at each other, you'd get the heebie-jeebies, like all the hairs go up, and I'm like, "Did you feel that?" And, it was such it's always such a cool experience, not just for me because, I learn with every session. Every session is different, and it depends on where you're at, depends where Dragon is at. and what is needed in that window of time that we have together. So we had a really special session this week.
We did.
Really special session for everyone. So I want your take on that. I want you to share with me, if you will, how that was for you, what you saw. We had a few moments. We'll talk about it in just a little bit as we go through it, but I really would like to hear from you what it was like.
Right. So whenever we have a session, I always want to look at Dragon. I have him there and, with us. And I love to see his reaction when you're in session with him because there's just so many different poses in his hair and his eyes, and he yawns, the ears perk up. So I just love all three of us visualizing that or just, witnessing that.
Mhm.
And our session this week, just, I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Especially just the connection that he has with you. And during the session, as you were going through the things that you were helping him with, I could feel it. I could feel it in my gut. I could feel it in my heart. I could feel it on my skin. And I remember at one time we were both like, I have to go to the bathroom.
And I think we used some words, some really explicit words,
Yeah.
because it was so visceral, and yet at
Yes.
the same time, you're in San Diego and I'm on the other side of the country on the East
Yes.
Coast. So, there's non-locality here, and it's just it blew my mind, and it blew both of our minds, especially at those synchronous times when I was explaining what was going on for him, and I said, "Oh, I can feel that in my body," and you were like, and I said, "Oh, there's another wave coming," and you were like, "I felt that." You were just about to say the same
Yeah.
thing. Is there another something else coming? But I did notice even when I was in person, when I used to live in San Diego, his fur would change every time.
Yes.
His fur
Yeah.
would change, his movements would change every time, and a lot of the time he looks at the camera when I'm not there and we're online, especially at pertinent points when we're doing something. And a lot of the time I have my eyes closed because I have internal vision.
Yes.
And so you're the one that gives me feedback and says, "Oh, look at him, he's doing this," and then I'll look and we'll see it. But we had some really amazing moments of the only words that I could find was "wow." I mean, we used
Right.
words
We did.
because it
We
was so
did.
visceral, but it truly, every time I do these kind of things, there's always something new that comes in,
Yes.
and I'm always learning, and it is a gift. Your choice of allowing me to have the opportunity to speak to you, to speak to Dragon, to share with you, and to do a healing on him, and with him, because we do it together. He
Yes.
needs to choose also. It truly always brings new things. And what I found is that there are lots of different elements.
Yes.
We have all sorts of different frequencies from different elements in nature that come in to support him. And often for our human mind, I'll sit there and I'll say to you, I don't know why this is happening, or why would this is the choice, but I let it happen anyway because it's not up to me. It's what he needs. And it's always a revelation. It's always a revelation. So, what, in your opinion, were the key elements that you saw that how he changed, um, during and then after the session?
Right. So I do want to remind you at the beginning, as soon as we signed on, he's like, I'm ready. He told you,
Yes.
he's like, I'm ready. So even that is just confirmation of the wow that all three of us experienced.
Yes.
And for the past few days, he was very lethargic, um, just staring at things. His fur was very matty and dirty and just unkept and just very lazy. Um, And then through the session, I immediately noticed, oh, another thing, he had his breathing was very fast paced. And just throughout the session and his healing, I could just see the changes just happening with each healing session. The breathing slowed down. It seemed much easier for him. The stretching that he was doing, like he was taking it in, breathing, um, and immediately his fur just was shiny, and it looked like he had just gotten groomed, and it was just amazing. His eyes were so much brighter and glossy, and um, so those are the things that I definitely noticed.
Mm.
And then a couple hours later, he just started running around and just playing, and he was chasing my ankles like he hasn't done for a while. So yeah, pretty much immediate changes that I saw
Interesting.
after the healing.
And
Yeah, and
go.
I just wanted to go back to what you said about um, his healing, and we both saw the connections of the science behind all of this. What we both encounter, it's like that's the science of all this. So,
Yes.
and it was just amazing, you
Well, we
know?
both, I love science. I like
Yes,
to marry the intuition with science. And in fact, I don't think science can exist without that hunch. It's like,
right.
I hypothesize this. That's intuition. But whether or not you've read it and accumulated some knowledge or whether you have a question. But both of us come from that kind of perspective. And with this work, I like to go and look to see, is there anything that is available to share um, in terms of what I saw? Is there anything we know in this reality, this physical reality that correlates with that, or is there anything to that? And I sent it to you because I was so wowed again. I was like, wow. So, and again, that's confirmation. And, I'm so pleased he's doing well. He's such a beautiful, beautiful feline. He is very independent, very
Yes,
not eccentric, but he has this very distinctness about him, and that's just who he is. He's
yes,
wonderful. Um, but there was something else that I wanted to share with you, and that's the reason why this happens this way, and when it does profoundly, is because you're open
yes,
and you allow it to be. And both of us, the art of this is not to, well, this is the outcome that I want. It's rather to let it fly free like a bird and to let it unfold. And this goes back to physics.
yes,
David Bohm is my favorite physician, not physician, physicist, and he suggested that there's an enfolding and unfolding of the universe, and I feel that that kind of in our sessions, that's how it happens, and by
yes,
allowing us to unfold the envelope without projection, then we start to allow the animal to take it in because we're not in the way. I have no words.
yeah. It's very organic. It
I-
is. It's what happens, you know?
well,
So,
yeah, let's just
yeah.
go in and have a look. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to share this with me.
Well, I
And
appreciate you having me.
thank you. And thank you for sharing Dragon with me because I
Absolutely.
am so blessed and honored to be on this journey with you. And I hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And we'll see you soon.